Welcome back to another episode of Goat Worthy Reactions, where we mainly like to focus on goats on this channel. Shout out to Josh, man. Josh has sent me this directly, man. He put in a donation and he wanted to know where he was at with that donation. I said, oh, you're in about 20th place. I was like, but within a month, maybe we'll get to it, right? And he's like, I need you to react to this like yesterday. So Josh pushed this all the way to the front. I won't say what he did, but he donated and he pushed it all the way to the front. And here we are. That was yesterday's conversation. We kind of know each other. We're acquainted, and he kind of knows my story with my father. So I'm curious to what this is going to be like. So let's not waste some more time. We got Conway, Twitty. Never heard of Conway, Twitty. Never heard of the song That's My Job. If the song plays, I'll let you know if I might have heard it before, but most likely I didn't. I grew up listening to hip hop music, and that's all I listened to when I was growing up in New York. So let's see what this is about. Turn this up.
I woke up crying late at night.
I like his voice.
When I was very young. I had dreamed my father had passed away and gone. My world revolved around him. I couldn't lie there anymore. So I made my way down the mirrored hall and tapped upon his door. And I said, Daddy, I'm so afraid. How will I go on with you gone that way? Don't want to cry anymore, so may I stay with you? And he said, that's my job. That's what I do. Everything I do is because of you, to keep you safe with me. That's my job, you see.
Oh man. Josh, you Josh. Oh man. All right, before anybody freaks out, my father did not pass away or anything like that, but I do see why he wanted me to hear this. Interesting. We'll get more into it. I don't want to blab too much because I do talk a lot, so apologies in advance, but I'm just looking. I had the lyrics pulled up because I really wanted to dive into the lyrics. This is already heavy because like the song starts with one of a child's deepest fears, like losing the person who makes the world feel safe to them. The father being in this state, right? And sometimes it's the mother, but for the most part, in America, I would say that's the father, right? What makes it so powerful is he doesn't over explain the fear. He just shows like a little boy waking up from a nightmare, walking down the hallway and just needing to know his father is still there, just double checking, right? I've had that fear about my mother growing up. So when you're young, your parent isn't just a regular person, right? Their protection, their security, their structure, they're literally the roof over your emotions. I like the chorus too. The chorus is beautiful because the father doesn't make his love sound like a sacrifice he resents. You know what I mean? So like he makes it sound like purpose. I can get with that. I'm a father. My daughter's 3 years old. So he says that's my job. To me, when he says it, when he sings it, anyways, right? I'm coming from a place where I feel like when I relate to that, he doesn't make it sound like a duty without love. It pretty much means like this is who I am for you, and that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful, and I hope a lot of people can relate to this and feel connected because that's a different kind of fatherhood right there. Real love doesn't always make a speech. Sometimes it just quietly stands guard while you sleep. And I just feel like that's the type of father he has. And yeah, the father explaining his love in like the plainest words possible, right? It's very like, the reason why I think the lyrics are simplistic because it is about a father and his child. And that's the realest way to explain it. He makes it sound simplistic, right? But at the same time, though, somehow he's making it feel very eternal. Like that's my job. Like he's never not going to be there. And there's truth to that, because even after he passes, if you're a man of Christ, I just gave my life to Christ 2 years ago. So walking in his path, songs like this hit me on a different level now. My father is alive. I didn't know my father for 27 years. We reunited. I haven't seen him since I was 2. So obviously I have no memory of that. But we reunited. We're like really tight, really close. That was 10 years ago. You know, I met him when I was 27. I'm 37 now. And we're tight. We're like this. And, you know, funny enough, growing up, my mother would never allow me to speak ill of my father. And she said, when you're old enough and you're interested enough, I will sit down and we can talk about it. I'll do it on your time. She said that to me when I was young. And by the time I was getting older in my teenage years, I just felt it was better that I just forget about him. I don't have him. I don't want to think about him. It hurts too much. And I was like jealous of my friends of having that structure in their house. And I never had that. So it was one of those things where, you know, I wanted to believe he was a piece of crap. You know what I'm saying? It made me feel better. I was able to deal with it. You know, I'd rather have felt angry than be sad, right? I still felt sad at times, but for the most part, I was angry. And I thought I hated him, you know. Then we met and I found out he was nothing of what I thought he was. And it's crazy because he was you know, he apologized to me for not being able to be in my life. And I apologized to him for thinking he was the worst person ever, you know. Crazy. Joshua, I'm gonna kick your ass, man. All right, let's keep it going.
Later we barely got along. This teenage boy and he. Most of the fights, it seems, were over different dreams we each held for me. He wanted knowledge and learning. I wanted to fly out west. I said I could make it out there if I just had the fare. I got half, will you loan me the rest? And I said, Daddy, I'm so afraid there's no guarantee in the plans I've made. And if I should fail, who will pay my way back home?
That's my job, son.
And he said, that's my job.
Wow.
That's what I do. Everything I do is because of you, to keep you safe with me. That's my job, you see. Every person carves his spot and fills the hole with light. And I pray someday I might light as bright as he. Woke up early one bright fall day.
I gotta pause it. I'm sorry, because I got a wave of emotions. And if I keep hearing more and more, y'all gonna see me freaking really shedding tears on this camera, which I said I wasn't gonna do anymore. First of all, I really appreciate this man, Conway, Twitty. He put together a nice piece of work here, and I'm having a good time listening to this, to be honest. Mainly because I was able to hash things out with my father, reconnect, and be buddies with him. Right, we're like brothers more today, but it's a beautiful relationship that I have with my father. But it's different listening to this song knowing that me and him are good. If we weren't good, I'd probably be balling right now. Okay, so later we barely got along, the teenage boy and he. Most of the fights seems like it was over different dreams. He's like, so basically he just wanted to move on and do some things, you know, experience life a little bit. And his father knew what was best for him, and he wanted him to really just, you know, study more and you know, build up that knowledge. And you know, young boys, young kids, teenagers, we want to experience some stuff, and we always want to say we'll get back to that after, but we can lose our way when we do that. So it's always best we listen to our fathers or our parents. You know, they carry a certain wisdom that we haven't tapped into yet. I know that looking back now, right? But that part though, you know, he wanted learning and I wanted to fly away. I feel like this part is real because the relationship changes, right? So now the same child who once was I guess who once ran to his father for safety now becomes a teenager trying to separate from him. That's the interesting shift from verse 1 to verse 2. But that's life at the end of the day. So sometimes the person who protected you started feeling like the person holding you back. And that sucks. You know, that really sucks. I never experienced that specifically, but I do have somewhat of a survivor's remorse when it comes to leaving my mother, because I did leave my mother in New York and I'm in Texas now. And it was because of a career move, and that was tough, right? So I guess that's actually the same thing in a way, right? Just a different dynamic with me and my mother, but you know, it really, he's just afraid for him, right? That's really what's happening. The father's just afraid for him. You know, the father wants stability, the son wants freedom. You know, neither one is completely wrong at the end of the day, right? I think that's what makes the writing so mature. It's less about complexity and more about translation. Like, are we being transparent within these lyrics? And I think Conway's being pretty transparent. I think he's doing a fabulous job. It doesn't paint the father as a villain at no point, or the son as ungrateful, which would be one of the two characteristics that media or such shows maybe would put on one another, right? But there's actually an even playing field happening right now, and I feel like this is a teaching moment for anyone who's listening to this song who might be able to relate to it. Instead of a song siding with one another and creating somewhat of a bias, the bias is love. You know, the bias is treatment. You know, a fairness type of treatment, and they're treating each other with a lot of respect. That's what we're uncovering here. It just shows that love can become complicated, as we all know, in different type of relationships, specifically when dreams, you know, start, I guess, pulling people in different directions. And that could be hard to deal with, especially for a parent to let go of their child that they protected their whole life. So, you know, I mean, there's no guarantee in the plans I've made, and if I should fail, who will pay my way back home? That's my job, what I do. So this is cool. I like this because at least he's being honest with his father, right? And he's afraid too. He's afraid out there. So this is like the part I feel like that really hits, that really connects in this song, because even when the son wants to leave, right? He wants to leave, but at the end of the day, he still needs to know his father will be there if his dreams fall apart, and that is a safety net I wish I had growing up. That's something I never had, you know. Yeah. So that to me is being a father is just crazy, right? Because I'm a father now, and I'm like, I question my fatherhood all the time. You know, I need reassurance. I need my wife to tell me that I'm doing a good job. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm doing a good job, or stuff like that. But I feel like this is fatherhood, though, at its highest level. You know, not controlling your child's faith, his path or her path, but just, I guess, remaining a safe place. If the road ever, you know, breaks from under them, it's important for you to be, you know, someone for them, not someone in their way. And when the father repeats, "That's my job," that's that reassurance I'm kind of talking about. It just means something deeper now. It just, at first it was like, you know, it's meant to, I guess, show, you know, I'm protecting a sacred little boy from nightmares. That was the beginning process when you're a child. But I think that grows into what it means to be, I guess, giving a young man enough courage to chase life, right? Because he knows love will still be waiting if it falls, right? He knows that, and that's powerful.
Woke up early one bright fall day to spread the tragic news. After all my travel, I settled down within a mile or two. Make my living with words and rhyme, and all this tragedy
Probably a true story.
should go into my head and out instead as bits of poetry.
Some
But
good writing.
I say, Daddy, I'm so afraid. How will I go on with you gone this way? How can I come up with a song to say I love you? That's my job. That's what I do. Everything I do is because of you, to keep you safe with me. That's my job, you see. Everything I do is because of you, to keep you safe with me.
Man, I could tell by the look on his face that, oh yeah, that little gasp at the end. You could tell by the look in his face this is actually a true story. It has to be a true story. I'd be really surprised to know that it wasn't a true story. I might light as bright as he. That's interesting. And so I feel like in certain parts of this song there was, like, I'm not gonna say biblical references, but it had some alliance to do with Christ in some type of way. I don't know. It didn't make me feel, it felt a little gospel to me, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's between a father and his son, but you know, I don't know. Something about it felt biblical, or maybe just my heart was touched. I don't know. But I feel like the Holy Spirit was involved on this track right here. But the bridge is beautiful because more transitioning, right? Because now the son is starting to understand his father differently now. So we went from little boy scared, run to father, I need you, to father, I love you, but I want to experience certain things. Now we're at this wisdom stage where it's like, father, I understand you now. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what we're tapping into, because like when we're young, we think our parents are just parents. And then we get, you know, we grow a little older and we realize they were people, but they were people actually carrying pressure, fear, responsibility, and sacrifice the entire time of your tenure on earth. And that line about wanting to light as bright as he is obviously humility, right? But that's a son finally realizing his father's love wasn't ordinary. You know, he had something special, and more than that, it was a standard, you know, and that's a great deal of respect. If his father, I hope his father was alive when he wrote this song and was able to perform this, because that's something a father should hear, you know. Then he got into that last verse, woke up early, bright full day, read the tragic news. How will I go on with you gone this way? How can I come up with a song to say I love you? I did enjoy that third verse quite a bit. You just heard a lot of wisdom and growth, because now, like, the nightmare from the beginning, I guess, becomes reality now, right? Because that's what makes the song devastating. As a child, he feared losing his father. He got older. Now he's an adult, and he finally has to face that reality. And now the same question comes back, right? How do I go on without you? You know, but I feel like this time there's no door to knock on. Shout out to Conway, Twitty. Make sure y'all like the video if you do like the video. Comment in the video. Get down in the comment section. Let me know what you think of this song. Do you have a personal connection to these lyrics? Did you actually relate to this firsthand? Or just how did it make you feel when you first heard this? And what do you think about the reaction? Appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Share if you want, but just stick around, hang out with us. And if you want, join the Patreon. We got a bunch of rock classics over there, and I'm doing a lot of reactions on there. Yeah, peace out.